We've been together for 3 years. We picked out names for future kids. Joint Costco membership. Just last week, we put down a deposit on a cute little house in the suburbs, the kind with a porch swing and a lemon tree in the backyard. I thought we were building something real. Friday nights have always been our ritual. Movie night, just us. We take turns choosing the film, make popcorn the fancy way. I'm talking nutritional yeast and coconut oil, and spend the evening curled up, unwinding from the week. It's been my favorite part of every week for years. This Friday was his pick. He chose a documentary on cryptocurrency. Not exactly thrilling for me, but I didn't mind. It was just nice being together. About 45 minutes in, I noticed he was totally out cold on the couch, which made sense considering he'd been coming home late all week, saying he was swamped with a work project. Then his phone lit up on the coffee table. And again. And again. I glanced over. The screen wasn't locked. Messages were popping up from someone saved as work project, with an emoji. I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. But the preview read, "Miss your touch already." And the next one, "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow." My stomach dropped. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the floor had opened up beneath me. I sat frozen for a second, trying to convince myself I was overreacting, but I wasn't. I picked up his phone. I didn't want to. I've always believed in respecting privacy. But something deep in my gut told me I needed to know. And what I saw shattered me. This wasn't just casual flirting. It was full-on meetups, late-night plans, hotel stays. There were pictures, messages about me, how he was managing the situation, and didn't want to hurt me. As if I wasn't already being hurt every time he lied to my face. It had been going on for months. The late nights, the excuses, the sudden new cologne, it all clicked. I wanted to scream. I wanted to wake him up and demand answers. But instead, I placed the phone back, gently covered him with a blanket, and walked to the bathroom, where I had the quietest, most intense breakdown of my life. The next morning, he kissed my forehead like nothing had happened. Made breakfast. Talked about paint colors. I smiled. I nodded. I played along like nothing was wrong. I've never acted in my life. But that day, I gave the performance of someone holding their world together with thread. As soon as he left for his gym session, which I now believe was anything but, I called my best friend. She came over and together we went through everything I remembered from the messages. Then we checked our shared credit card account, and there it was. Dinners at places I'd never heard of. Uber rides at 1 a.m. A hotel charge from the weekend he said he was on a work trip. Every red flag I'd brushed off came rushing back. The new laptop passwords, the emergency meetings, the unexplained mood shifts. It was all there, in black and white. Now here's where I need help. I don't want a dramatic confrontation just for him to twist the story or downplay what he's done. I don't want to walk away quietly and let him rewrite the ending. I want him to feel what he's ruined, to truly understand the depth of betrayal. My friend thinks I should gather more proof before making a move, and honestly, I'm leaning that way, because when I walk away, it won't be quietly. He just doesn't know it yet. After everything I saw on his phone, my best friend had one piece of advice. Play it cool, just a little longer. Act like everything's normal while I put together a plan. So that's exactly what I did. Yesterday, I went full Stepford girlfriend. Cooked his favorite dinner, laughed at his jokes, didn't say a word when he kept texting someone with that same smug little smile. I even initiated intimacy, which made my skin crawl. But I needed to keep up appearances. This morning, I casually mentioned I might have to travel for work next weekend. And just like that, he perked up. He tried to act chill, but I could see the gears turning. The idea of having the apartment all to himself? Way too appealing. That moment confirmed everything. So here's the plan. I'm not going on any trip. I'll be staying at Sally's place across town. But I'll let him think I'm gone. I have a feeling he's going to invite her over. And when he does, that's when it all unfolds. Normally, I'm not a spiteful person. But after 3 years of loyalty, of love, of building a future, something inside me has snapped. He doesn't get to walk away with everything while I'm left picking up the pieces. And no, before you ask, I'm not doing anything illegal. I've saved screenshots of all the messages, the credit card charges, everything. And about the house deposit? We haven't closed yet, and the money's in escrow. I've already spoken to a lawyer. I'm protecting what's mine. To those saying I should just confront him, maybe you're right. But after everything he's done behind my back, I think I deserve to handle this on my terms. Update. I never expected my last post to get so much attention. Reading your advice and kind words has genuinely helped me hold it together this past week. It's been 7 days since I found out, and here's where things stand now. Publicly, I'm still his supportive girlfriend. Still smiling. Still talking about throw pillows and paint colors for the new house. Privately, I'm in full investigator mode. On Monday, I told him I had lunch with a coworker, but really, I met with a financial advisor. She helped me draft a letter to the escrow company to secure my share of the deposit. I haven't sent it yet, but it's ready. I also opened a new account at a different bank and began moving small amounts from our joint account. Enough to protect myself, but not enough to trigger suspicion. And no, it's not stealing. It's my money. I earned it. I deposited it. I'm just making sure I don't walk away broke when this ends. Now here's where it gets surreal. Tuesday was his company's monthly happy hour. I usually skip those, but this time, I showed up, and I met her. Work project. Her real name is Dina. She's their new creative director. Tall, gorgeous, designer everything. The kind of confident that makes you second-guess everything about yourself. Harrison introduced us like nothing was going on, like my entire world wasn't imploding in real time. Watching them interact was sickening. Inside jokes, flirty glances, brushing shoulders. Accidentally. At one point, I went to the bathroom, looped back through the side entrance, and caught them in a private corner, talking closely. They jumped when someone else walked by. Guilt written all over their faces. Still, I kept my cool. I even complimented her earrings, which looked like they cost more than our rent, and asked where she was from. Chicago, she said. Came here for the job. Yeah, right. When we left, I overheard her tell Harrison, "Your girlfriend seems so sweet," in the fakest, most patronizing tone I've ever heard. I had to literally dig my nails into my palms to stop myself from saying something right then and there. Later that night, he was overly affectionate, probably trying to erase his guilt. Suggested we pick out furniture for the new house together, like everything was fine. And I sat there, smiling, clicking through couch options, imagining the exact moment his world comes crashing down. And trust me, it's coming. Turns out our shared phone plan was the unexpected jackpot. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the nights he claimed he was stuck late at work, his phone was pinging at the same address across town. A quick search showed it was an apartment complex. A few social media clicks later, and boom, Dina's name came up. He wasn't staying late at the office. He was visiting her, twice a week, like clockwork. Thursday night hit me the hardest. I knew exactly where he was, who he was with, and what was probably happening. He texted something like, "Running late. Big presentation tomorrow, finishing up graphics." And I replied with a sweet, "No problem, babe. I'll keep dinner warm. Love you." Meanwhile, I was shaking so hard I could barely type. While he was working, I dove deeper into our finances. We'd only combined some accounts about a year ago when we started saving for a house. What I found made my stomach turn. Fancy restaurants I'd never been to, wine shops, and a charge at a jewelry store just one day before Valentine's Day. For the record, I got a card for Valentine's Day. Just a card. Friday rolled around. Movie night again. 1 week since everything had unraveled. Harrison picked another tech documentary, which I couldn't even pretend to care about. Instead, I watched him. The way he angled his phone. The way his eyes lit up every time a message came in. All the signs I used to ignore were blaring now. Eventually, he fell asleep. Didn't even finish the movie. Classic. I checked the phone again. The original chat with work project was gone, but a new one had taken its place. Dwar. Not exactly subtle. Their conversation? Making plans for next weekend? The weekend he thought I'd be out of town? That's when the final piece clicked into place. I told him I had a healthcare conference in Denver, totally plausible given my job. But in reality, I'll be at Sally's apartment across the city, watching everything unfold from the doorbell camera I installed yesterday while he was at the gym. According to their texts, Dina's planning to come over Friday night. Most likely staying over. In our apartment. In our bed. The thought alone makes my skin crawl. But it'll be the final confirmation I need. While they're enjoying their little fantasy, I'll be executing mine. One that ends very differently. Here's the plan. Send the letter to the escrow company to block the house deal. Transfer the last bit of my money from our shared accounts. Pack the rest of my things. I've already been quietly moving sentimental items to Sally's. Print out every screenshot, bank statement, and message thread. And prepare for the conversation. The one where he learns just how badly he's messed up. Some of you offered wild revenge ideas, and I appreciate the creativity, but I've decided I don't want a dramatic explosion. I want impact. I want him to realize, piece by piece, what he's destroyed. Not just a relationship, but a future. His own reputation. His dignity. The hardest part? Pretending everything was fine. We were still sleeping in the same bed. Still talking about paint colors and puppy names. Just yesterday he asked what kind of dog we should get for the new house. And I smiled while silently thinking there won't be a house. Or a dog. Or an us. Sometimes I still catch glimpses of the man I fell in love with. The one who held my hand through my dad's health scare. The one who surprised me with concert tickets. The one I thought I'd grow old with. And then I remember the messages. The lies. The betrayal. And all I feel is cold, quiet resolve. Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. But after all he's taken, my trust, my future, my peace, I need to take something back. Control. Update. Yes, I got tested. Everything's clear. Yes, I've documented everything. Every detail. Every receipt. Every risk. And no, there is absolutely no innocent explanation for what I've seen. Second update, and it's a big one coming next. Let's just say, he helped me carry my bag to the car, not knowing I wasn't going far. He told me he'd miss me, that he'd be catching up on work while I was away. Said it so casually, like he actually believed his own script. Unbelievable. I drove around the block, parked, and waited 20 minutes before heading straight to Sally's. We had everything ready. Snacks, wine, and nerves of steel. This was our command center for the night. And while we waited, I went into full execution mode. I sent a notarized letter to the escrow company, formally withdrawing from the home purchase. I transferred every remaining dollar that was mine into my new account. I contacted my doctor and switched all my medical records to a new provider. I changed every password and backup email I had. Removed myself from our shared credit cards. Step by step, I was cutting every tie. At 7:30 p.m., the doorbell camera lit up. There she was, Dina, in a dress that probably cost more than my rent, holding a bottle of wine and an overnight bag. Harrison greeted her at the door, with a kiss, right there, on the threshold of the place we used to call home. They didn't even wait until they were inside before getting handsy. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Sally saw it in my face. She said it was like watching a switch flip. I wasn't sad anymore. I was done. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I hit record. The doorbell cam caught everything. The kiss, their conversation, the way they laughed about finally having the place to themselves. Harrison even joked about how nice it was not to have to worry about Gloria for once. The audio was crystal clear. I saved the clip immediately. Then I logged into the app from my laptop and continued recording every moment. Them drinking wine on the balcony, him ordering food, her dancing in the hallway like she owned the place. But I wasn't finished. I set up my old phone on the balcony. With help from Sally's brother, I climbed the fire escape and positioned it just right, angled toward the bedroom window, where the curtains never close properly. The next morning, once I knew Harrison had left for work, I went back. I had 3 hours. Sally and her brothers helped me move quickly. I only took what was clearly mine: clothes, keepsakes, things I'd brought into the relationship. I didn't want to argue about furniture or dishes. I just wanted out. Before leaving, I did one final walkthrough. In the bathroom, her makeup, her brush, on my vanity, in the sink, 2 wine glasses, in the bedroom, evidence of exactly what I knew had happened. I placed my key on the kitchen counter. Alongside it, I left a neat little packet, printed screenshots of their messages, some credit card charges, a brief and silent statement that said, I know. The recordings, I kept those for myself. Then I blocked Harrison on everything: phone, email, socials, even Venmo. I reached out to our friends and family and let them know we'd broken up, asked for privacy, and made it clear I wouldn't be talking about the details. You'd think after pulling it all off so perfectly I'd feel powerful. But honestly, I just felt hollow. I cried the entire drive back to Sally's. It felt like the end of a whole era of my life. But then, the emails started. The one account I forgot to block. My work inbox. 12:34 p.m. Gloria, where are you? I just came home for lunch and saw your stuff's gone. Please call me ASAP. 12:46 p.m. I saw the papers. This isn't what you think. Please, let's talk. 1:03 p.m. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. Don't throw away 3 years over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Is that what we're calling sneaking around with your coworker for months? The messages didn't stop. By evening, he was swinging between sobbing apologies and blaming me for going too far, for violating his privacy, for blowing things out of proportion. And when I didn't respond, he started showing up. My favorite cafe, my parents' house, even Sally's building. Thankfully, she didn't tell him I was there. He even came to my office. Made such a scene, my boss nearly called security. That was it. The moment the exhaustion turned to rage. So I did it. I really did it. I created a private folder, uploaded everything, doorbell footage, audio, balcony video, every detail, organized, dated, and backed up. What I did with that link? You'll find out in the next update. I sent the video link to Harrison's parents. Some of you might say that was too far, maybe. But let's not forget, this is a man who was planning to buy a house with me using their financial help, all while carrying on a secret relationship with someone else. His parents deserve to know the truth. No dramatic message, no accusations. I simply wrote, I thought you should know why Harrison and I won't be moving forward with the house. I'm sorry you're hearing it like this, but I believe you deserve honesty. 10 minutes later, Harrison's phone, or rather, his friend's phone, started blowing up. How do I know? Because he sent me over 20 texts accusing me of ruining his life and demanding to know, how could you send that to my parents? But I wasn't finished. I also sent the footage to his employer, not out of spite, but because their company has a clear policy. No workplace relationships, especially not between people in different positions. And yes, their affair happened on company time, with company resources. Before you say that's extreme, let me add this. Harrison had just been promoted. A promotion that, according to people at his office, should have gone to a colleague named Larry, a guy supporting a family and waiting for his break. But Harrison got it, thanks to Dina pushing for him in meetings. So yeah, I felt this wasn't just a personal betrayal. It was systemic, calculated, and unfair to others too. That Friday night, Harrison apparently went out drinking with his friends. I know this because by 2 a.m., I had 51 messages from unknown numbers. He was borrowing friends' phones to get around the block. The messages were a chaotic mix of, I love you more than anything, you've destroyed everything I worked for, and my personal favorite, you can't just vanish after 3 years and expose my private life to everyone. What am I supposed to say? Here's an idea, Harrison. Maybe say the truth? That you broke the trust of someone who was building a life with you? On Saturday morning, Dina messaged me too. Instagram, of course. She's now blocked. Her tone had changed completely. Apparently, she'd been pulled into an emergency HR meeting and was facing potential termination. Instead of apologizing, she blamed me for blowing things out of proportion and said I should have handled it like an adult. Right, because nothing says adulthood like sleeping with someone else's partner for months. By Saturday afternoon, the news had made its way through our friend group. The reactions were mixed. Some people rallied around me immediately, disgusted by what Harrison had done. Others thought I'd gone nuclear by involving his parents and workplace. A few tried to stay neutral, saying I should have just walked away quietly. But here's the thing. Harrison's betrayal wasn't private. He was lying to everyone, to me, to his family, to his boss, and he was planning to keep doing it indefinitely. So why should I carry the full weight of his decisions in silence? That evening, I got a call from Harrison's mom. I'd forgotten to block her. And surprisingly, she wasn't angry. She was heartbroken, and not at me. She thanked me for telling her the truth, as painful as it was. She said she was deeply sorry for the way her son had treated me, and that their family would be having a very serious conversation with him. After that, I shut my phone off. I needed 24 hours of peace. No notifications, no apologies, no drama. When I turned it back on, more messages, more missed calls, more opinions from people trying to make sense of something they didn't live through. So where am I now? Still staying with Sally, still processing. Some days I feel sure of myself. Others, I wonder if I went too far. The apartment manager let me know Harrison is moving out today, so technically I could return, but I don't know if I want to. That place holds too many memories I'm not ready to face alone. I've decided to take a week off work. My boss was kind and supportive. I spared him the details, of course. As for the house, the escrow company confirmed my withdrawal. I'll lose a bit of the deposit, but that's a small price to pay to avoid being financially tied to someone who betrayed me. Harrison's still trying to get through to me through mutual friends, but the tone has shifted. He's no longer begging for a second chance. He's begging me to stop sharing the videos, swearing he's learned his lesson. Too little, too late, To those asking if I'll ever hear him out, maybe one day, when it doesn't hurt so much. But I can't imagine any version of his explanation that would make this okay. And to the few people who say I went too far with the recordings? Look, I didn't create those to humiliate him or go viral. I shared them with the people who needed to know the truth. Not for entertainment, not for revenge, but because for once, I needed him to feel the weight of his actions. And he has. I never shared those recordings to shame him publicly. I shared them to protect myself, and to make sure the people affected knew the truth. Tomorrow I start therapy, and honestly, that's one of the best suggestions I've ever received. Thank you to everyone who encouraged it in the comments. Final update. The last time I checked in, I had just followed through on what many of you called nuclear-level revenge. I'd recorded Harrison and Dina with the doorbell cam, sent the footage to his parents and boss, and cut all ties, emotionally, legally, and financially. I moved out, blocked him on everything, and took refuge at Sally's place to sort through the wreckage of what had been my life. A lot of you asked, did I ever see him again? Did we ever speak face to face after everything? The answer is yes, just not in the way I expected. About a week after I sent the recordings, I was journaling at a small cafe far across town, the kind of place Harrison would never be caught dead in. I picked it for that exact reason. But of course, life had other plans. I heard someone say my name. I looked up. It was him. He looked wrecked, pale, unshaven, like he hadn't slept in days. He asked if he could sit down. Every instinct told me to say no and walk out. But some part of me, the part still waiting for closure, told me to stay. So I did. What followed was probably the most honest conversation we'd had in months, maybe ever. He told me how it started. Flirtation at work, drinks after hours, and eventually things went further than they ever should have. He said he never meant to hurt me, claimed it all got out of hand, that he was overwhelmed by life, by the house, by expectations. I didn't respond. I just listened. Then he brought up what I had done. The footage, his parents, his job, and to my surprise, he wasn't angry anymore. He said he'd had time to reflect, that he deserved it. His parents had made him pay back their portion of the house deposit. They'd given him the harshest reality check of his life. At work, he'd been placed on probation, removed from Dina's department, and passed over for future advancement. Larry, the colleague who should have gotten the promotion in the first place, was now being considered instead. When he finished, I asked just one thing. If I hadn't found out, how long would you have kept lying to me? He didn't answer, and that silence said everything. I told him I appreciated his honesty, but it was too late. That he didn't just cheat. He stole years from me. My trust, my vision of a shared future. While I was planning wedding colors and furniture layouts, he was juggling two lives. I told him I forgave him, but not for his sake, for mine. Because carrying all that anger was only going to weigh me down. He looked like he'd been expecting rage. Not calm, not forgiveness. He had no defense for that. I stood up, walked away, and for the first time, it felt like I was finally closing a chapter I never asked to write. No, we didn't get back together. Forgiveness is not the same as reconciliation. The weeks that followed were a blur of rebuilding. I found a new apartment, just mine, decorated every inch exactly how I wanted. I dealt with the house paperwork, lost a bit of money but saved my peace. I started therapy twice a week. Best decision I've ever made. I leaned hard on friends who showed up in ways I never expected. They carried me when I couldn't carry myself. Even Dina reached out again, a couple of months later. Turns out, she transferred back to the Chicago office after everything blew up. She said Harrison had lied to her too, told her our relationship was basically over, that we were only still living together for financial reasons. She apologized again. We're not friends, but there's no bitterness left between us. As for Harrison, I don't keep up. But friends talk. Apparently, after his probation ended, things at work were too awkward. Too many eyes. Too much gossip. His boss gave him two options: transfer to another office or find a new job. He transferred. Last I heard, he's in Seattle now. Shockingly, his parents still keep in touch with me. They said they were blindsided by what he did, but they don't blame me. His mom even sent me cookies and a birthday card that said, "You'll always be family to us." I cried when I read it. The house? It sold last month. I drove by. A new couple was moving in. I didn't feel sad, just relief. That wasn't supposed to be my house. or my life. Last week, I finally unpacked the last moving box. Yes, it took me 6 months, don't judge. And I found an old birthday card from Harrison. It said, "To many more years of adventure together." A few months ago, that would have wrecked me. Now? I smiled, tossed it in the trash, and kept moving. To answer your last questions, yes, I still have the recordings, but they're locked away. No one will ever see them again. They did what they were meant to do. Yes, I'm completely, legally, and financially separate from Harrison now. No shared debts, no shared accounts, clean slate. And to the person who messaged me saying no man would want me after all this, I'm not the damaged one in this story, but you might be. And I hope you heal. And finally, do I regret sending the videos to his boss? Maybe a little. But when someone uses personal relationships to climb the ladder while honest people are struggling, some truths need to come to light.